Oh, Mind Smash did a great video. You gotta watch it. It's on YouTube. Mind Smash.
Hello. Appreciate the shout out, Adesanya. Thank you. Israel Adesanya, ranked 6th middleweight kickboxer worldwide by Combat Press. He is a hands-down elusive striker with his flashy and methodical style has been garnering a lot of attention. Regardless of who you are, whether you've trained to discipline yourself or not, such individuals always come along and have us ask the same questions. How will a kickboxer fare in the UFC's grand stage in mixed martial arts? Will his current grappling be enough versus men who've trained these disciplines earlier on? Adesanya has shown not just a capacity but a finesse to deal with such questions, but now, climbing the ladder of elite combat, we've seen Marvin Vetorri instill a glint of doubt upon us onlookers, even if Adesanya did hold victory in hand. Going in, just by his body type and the way he carried himself, I knew that if Vetorri had a grappling background, he'd be a lot of trouble. A thick, muscular frame, durable chin with a lot of miles, being only 24. If he's able to eat a shot that enters his range, he may not get a takedown. You know, Adesanya, his balance is phenomenal and his diligence to learn equally so. But if Marvin did get into grappling range with forced grappling pressure, the energy expenditure between the two may have been very different due to the differences in how their bodies are built. Thus, even if you shake off the grappler, you have still used more bullets from your clip than he has. Before the match began, studying how mentally prepared Vetorri was, how concrete his plan was, and the confidence. And then you throw on top the fact he's a southpaw, which for us orthodox has always been an annoying matchup, I still do not believe he could beat Adesanya, but I believed he could show us a glint of weakness versus a man who's been basically on a rampage up until now. That said, Adesanya's win, I believe, was pretty clear-cut, demonstrating a finesse you rarely see on this grand stage. The signs of hitting and not getting hit. Adesanya's head movement and footwork are a spectacle when, conventionally, when you're trained to keep your hands up to block or parry shots, he lowers his hands to lower his center of gravity, which heightens his ability to move his torso and glide on his feet. It also does influence his balance to throw kicks. Just compare the difference in footwork. Notably, Adesanya's is much cleaner, both feet moving together with a precise awareness for distance. Notice how he paused with his lead as he shifts position. Adesanya, while he angles and shifts back, he keeps tabs on Vettori's distance with this lead. Thus, perfectly on the half beat of the back foot, Adesanya feels the timing for his jab. If you slow down and pay attention to this instance, it seems so simple, but already you can tell how fundamentally clean Adesanya is. He's like a machine. Note how precise his movements are to the moment, and realize some people, they can't even clap their hands to music. Here, not even a twitch in overreaction, just casually sliding out of the way. It's like he's standing on an edge, yet his nerves feel no threat. He is simply confident in his ability to deal with the moment. This is a level of mental composure beyond what technique alone can teach. We see the same thing in his phenomenal head movement. Adesanya perhaps has some of the best head movement I've ever seen. Look at how he throws his hands to his side as a counterbalance to slip his torso out of range. Then of course, again, we see his slick ability to circle out. We see Marvin top with Adesanya and he goes for the trip. But Adesanya's balance is just phenomenal. We continue to see this, but either way, I believe grinding Adesanya in this manner, in theory, is a win for Marvin, even if he did not get the takedown. But nonetheless, this does tell us a lot, considering how fast he's built an awareness of his hips, posture, and footing. When defending, it's obvious. Adesanya's greatest strength is his ability to learn. Any man who remains an eternal white belt is very dangerous regardless of his discipline. Thus, I can confidently tell you right now he's going to get even better from this experience. Now, versus a world-class striker, Marvin was impressive as well. Even Adesanya was surprised by how good his head movement was. He does not have nearly the same finesse in the stand-up. The volume and percentage of shots Adesanya was landing was just much higher, but he was slipping well-set-up shots, and he was finding shots. Marvin, he was really ensuring Adesanya was not going to have the walk in the park he predicted. He's a 24-year-old mixed martial artist who was holding ground in the stand-up versus an elite kickboxer. This was a very impressive performance. One thing we must also note about Adesanya is his constant switching of stance. Combining many looks, boxing, Muay Thai, kickboxing, and Taekwondo footwork, Adesanya, he bends between many styles, thus can give many looks to his opponents. When you pair that with his feints and, stance swaps between ortho and southpaw, it makes it very difficult to read his movements and timing whilst he picks up a feel for your reactions throughout this process. He wants you to react, he wants to put mental pressure on you and confuse your decision-making process. Thus, as the pressure builds more and more, we see more and more overreactions and habits, and Adesanya sees your reactions and patterns of behavior. Thus, the finely tuned striker feels more and more openings. He is truly a scientist of his craft, methodical in the way he picks his opponents apart. Again though, Marvin, his mental composure was just phenomenal. Despite having a much lower aptitude in the stand-up, with grit, composure, and IQ, he was not cracking to Adesanya's superior stand-up game. If anything, which is testified by Adesanya himself, Adesanya was the one who started overthinking.
The first 2 rounds I was flowing, I was feeling myself, I was feeling it. And then by the 3rd round, I started thinking too much, and that really, I wasn't flowing. Like I said, I was thinking too much, I was stuck.
It really should have been the otother way around. Another component to Adesanya's footwork is his ability to move off center line and use his footwork to angle into space. This makes it very hard to pressure then cut off Adesanya against the cage, which makes it very difficult to neutralize his footwork. Now we see, with the grappling pressure, Adesanya claims it had him leave his flow to start thinking. The result, little breaks in composure. Adesanya, his high movement and reaction-based style, it starts to look a little more even, with Marvin's a little more stifled, thus like attempting to think moves to music opposed to feel them. It gets harder to hit the beat. Despite Adesanya's victory being relatively clear-cut, who would have thought someone would have made him look so human this early on? Adesanya's philosophy appears to be methodical, yet through his arsenal of technique, meticulous, keeping tabs on both his and his opponent's mental game. He says himself he's constantly feeling the energy, feeling his opponent's energy, thus feeling when to touch or when to adjust, then finish. Let's take some insight from Miyamoto Musashi. In fighting in everyday life, you should be determined through calm. Meet the situation without tenseness, yet not recklessly. Your spirit, settled yet unbiased. An elevated spirit is weak, and a low spirit is weak. Do not let the enemy see your spirit. I do not know exactly what the spirit is. Maybe it is our mirror neurons picking up the micro-expressions and emotions similarly to how an elite poker player would, thus figure out your bluffs. I believe that is what Adesanya is feeling. Perhaps his mirror neurons are picking up how you are reacting to him emotionally, and as the match progresses, it gives him a tell as to how he needs to progress. Thus that is what we see in his style. He remains composed while seeking to break you down mentally and physically, overwhelming you. Finesse, footwork, and light shots, it's as he says.
When I come to the octagon and I just felt the energy a little bit, and then I could see like that look in his eyes, that panic. I didn't see it in the first round on him, but I saw it in the second round, and I knew, okay, I slow cooked him in the first, I fried him in the second.
He's a chef, taking his time to cook you up until he feels the moment to let his meal sizzle. Truly, a privilege to watch this elite striker challenge himself in a more diverse arena. I'm excited for what his future holds, for, one thing is for certain. As this competition gets better, he will too. To that end, let's keep asking. Sure, his hands are incredible, but will his grappling be enough? For such uncertainty has always fueled an element of excitement for his viewers. Thank you, Israel Adesanya and Marvin Vetorri, for the privilege to watch. If you'd like more from me, please subscribe, it's definitely great for the channel. Smash the like button if you enjoyed, it's good karma. And until next time, peace.